Hello, everybody. Let's get started. Excellent connection it is. Let's get started. All right. Today we are going to cover a little bit of C and Vim. So I've been trying out how to let's see. So we did a little bit of let me just come back here again. Hold on. I missed certain things in my setup, so I'm just trying to like go back and bring them back up. I'll close that. Let me just bring this window here, and then I'll open my come on, did not have to see that. Let me just clear my history. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so I'm just hold on. W3 schools. So I use this book, BJUS. Yeah, so this is the book I use for learning C. I'm just going to keep that on the side, and then so I'm not going to cover a lot. So today we are just going to like try out a little bit of exercise. So there is also W3 schools. Yep. So there's this C tutorial here that I also found interesting, and I would like to like try some of the things here. So I'd already done some of this stuff, so I'll start from this part here. I think arrays are like interesting, so we'll do arrays, and then we'll cover strings. User input, we've done that already. Pointers are known to be like very difficult in C, but we'll see how that goes as well. There are other resources you can also use. This is my favorite to begin with, and then I also use W3 schools. Which other one is there? Let me search for it. Let's see. Hello, Ahmad. Nice to have you in the stream today. How are you doing? Okay, so we can go to learn C programming. There is this space here, Code Chef. I don't think there is any other better place aside these two. I don't like to wander about from website to website to try and learn something. I mean, you can also use AI to give you like deeper explanations on the things you don't understand, and then you can just carry on from there, right? So we have let's see, let's see. Okay, so let's start with arrays for today. So arrays are essentially like a storage that takes in a certain type of data, right? So if you are familiar with any other programming language, you should know what an array is. So it's also so here's the definition they have here. Say arrays are used to store multiple values in a single variable instead of declaring separate variables for each value. To create an array, define the data type. So you need to define the data type of the array, which means what type of values you want to store in your array, and then specify the name of the array followed by some square brackets. I'm sure we are most of us are already familiar with this, but the syntax is different, right? The syntax is different from programming language to programming language. So now we have so let's create one. Or before we do that, we can just look through this tutorial here. You can see how to access a variable, a value from an array, and it's pretty much the same. So each value in an array has a certain position, right? Has a certain position starting from 0, right? So the position of the value 25 is at 0, it's at index, so the position is known as index, right? So the index of the value 25 is 0, or in other words, if you want to get the first value of an array, you usually get it by passing it an integer value. In this case, the first one will be 0, the second one will be 1, 2, and so on. Now, change an array element. So this is how you change an array. You simply assign a new value at that particular position. You can also look through arrays, right? So we'll have like a practical view of all of these now. Declare an array of 4 integers. So you can declare an array, give it a size, and then assign the value one after the other, compared to this other way here. You can see here we declare we created the array, and then we pass in the values we want to pass it. Now in this case, there is no limit here. It means we are keeping the size at 4, right? It's not going to be more than 4. So let's have some practical hands-on examples of this. So I'll just move that out of the way, and I'll say index. So let's do this index.c. Now in this case, we are using Vim as our code editor. You are welcome to use any code editor you want or you prefer. Sorry, let me just write here and quit. Okay, so you can just do WQ to quit and write and quit Vim. So I want to increase the font a little bit so we can see what I'm doing on the screen. All right, so we can start first of all by including our preprocessor directives. So we'll say include stdio.h, okay, int main. Usually you put void inside of this, but based on preference, this is not a prototype function. It's just like the entry point function. This is where your program starts executing from. So I'll just print something here, print f hello world, right? And then do it like this, close this and come here. Then we can just exit like this. And what can we do here? Okay, so let's write this and let's run this code to see how it works. So I'll just open my terminal here. First of all, we need to compile the code. So we are in the right directory, right? pwd Okay, we're in chapter 7. Sorry, it's also showing at the top there, so which is good. We can now do this. We can say cc index.c. My computer is a bit slow, I'm not sure why. So our code has been compiled. Now we can run it to see. In fact, if you want to see what the compilation result is, you can see after running cc index.c, you will get an a.out file, right? You can see it here. This is the a.out file. And here you can now do something like this to run the a.out file. So like this, you can see hello world has been printed. So we just compiled our C code and we're able to, run the code. So now what we will do next is so I'll move to the 4th line here and let's remove whatever is here. Okay, let me undo that. I'll just do it like this. Okay, exit vim again, undo that, and then yeah, now we want to create an array, right? So we can start with the type of values we want to store in the array. So I'll just call this my numbers like this, and then set it. So you need the brackets in front of it, right, to indicate to your compiler that this is an array, right? And now we can begin to pass it the values we want to pass in. So I'll just say 2. Okay, let's just do 1 2 3 4 5. All right, and then that's done. So we can now print we can print a value from the array, or we can just like simply loop through the array and then print out the values from it, right? So how do we loop through an array? Well, we can loop based on the length of the array. So there's for loop in C, so we can say it's for I equal to 0. For I equal to 0, I is less than. So how do we get the length of an array in C, right? So we can let's just search that, how to get the length of an array in C. Okay, so wow, you can use the size of operator, size of array name. Well, I'm seeing, so there's no, you know what, let's first of all let's do it this way. I'll try to print out the size of this array here by using the size of function, right, and see what we get. So let's move back here. Okay, let's exit vim. Let me remove this line, delete this line here, right? Go to the 5th line and we can move forward a bit. So here, oh okay, hi AJ. Okay, I'll do that in a bit. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I needed to declare the variable first. Yeah, thank you very much. So first of all, let's see what I'll say. Printf, right? So size of is going to give us a number, right? So let's try that and see. So we'll use this. Okay, I'll say the size, the length. Okay, let's say array length is this. So we'll say percentage sign followed by D, just because we want to print a number, right? So hold on, let's move here, put break in a new line, pass it the size of operator, and then we can now pass in the value of the name of our array, my numbers, like this. And let's see what this gives us, right? So we can exit Vim now, come back here. Okay, write this. We can also compile it here and then just run it on that side. So cc index.c. So there was an error. You know what, let's run it again here. So wk, hold on. So cc index.c, say format expect argument int but has long unassigned int. What does this mean? So size of does not print out a number. Is that what it's saying? I mean, let's see. I just think let's go back to this part. Float int. It says format the expect argument type of int. Well. What's going on here? You know what? I'm using this as my Google search to find out the values. So if you're wondering what I'm looking at on my other screen, I'm just trying to like search up some stuff. So we have this length of array, size of well, isn't size of supposed to give us let me see. Yeah, size of does not give int. Yeah, you know, I actually did size of before, right? I mean, it actually gives int, but I think it gives you like the actual binary. Wait, hold on, it's not what it does. But if you set size of int, let's create a variable. Say for example, oh sorry, if we created an int I, right, and then we say, so let's go to this line here. I'll just move like 5 words. Okay, you know what, let's move back. B and then do ci here, and they say you put in I here, right? I think this should give you a value. Okay, size of is not int, so what is it? Is it ZU we use to get the size of? I'm not sure, but let me get, so there's this place here where size of was used, and we need to see how it was used again. There is ZU. Oh, ZU is to get size of, you use ZU. Yeah, I thought so too. So instead of using D, which is an integer, we can use ZU instead. So 8 word back, so just move here, and then we can change this to ZU. just take this out, move in a bit, and cancel this. All right, I think this should work now. So let's move back up. Control W, K, clear this and run. All right, our code was successfully compiled. So let's try to run it again. Now you can see the length. Okay, this is not the length of our array. This simply you know, so the size of operator tells you the size in bytes, right? The size in bytes that particular variable or data type uses in memory. So it is actually not it's a bit complicated. I don't know how it works when it comes to arrays, right? Does it tell us the length of the array? So let's try and find out if that's what it does, right? So instead of size of I, we'll just put in size of so let's say we'll put in size of my number like this, my numbers, and then we write, okay, then we move back up to compile the code here, and let's see. Now this is not correct. This is not the length of the array. This is the size, right, in bytes of this array. So this is not the length. So how do we get the size of an array, the length of an array? Well. This a bit I can see there were some calculations done here. It says you take the size of the array and you divide it by the first item. The size of the first item. Well, we know every integer has a particular size, right? This will be 4, regardless of what integer it is. If you put 1 and try to find the size of 1 or 2, right, from this array, this will still give you 4 because that's the size in bytes of that particular integer. So here's what we can do. Let me come back here and try to perform that calculation. So I'll just come here and Control W, J, and then instead of this, let me move up a bit and then try to do the calculation here. So I'll say int size, or just call it in fact there is a data type for that, size t. Size t will be the length. Is that true? So it says the standard method for statically defined arrays yeah, you have a point. AJ. That's nice. Amelia said change your background to Solarize that. I don't know. Well, I'm quite okay with this one for now. I will look at Solarize Dark later on. So when we are trying to look for the size of an array, so the trick is to divide the total size of the array by the size of a single element in that array. So there is size t. So here you can see size t is a data type. Is that what it is? What does size t do? Okay, so size t is an unassigned integer type in C Define the standard array. Its primary purpose is to represent the size of objects and count elements in arrays or other data structures. Okay. So let's try this and see what it gives us, right? And AG has a point. Each integer has a size of value which is equal to 4. So we have 5 elements in the array currently. So 5 times 4 is 20, which is why we are getting 20 as the size of this array. So the size of the array is actually correct, but it's giving us the size in bytes. So here's what we can do. So I guess this is like a trick. So let's say size t. Size t will be, let's call this len. Len is the length of the array, and then we can just say we can just do it this way. We can just assign to this one here and say this is going to be equal to size of the array divided by one of the items here. So size of my numbers, right? Size of my numbers divided by size of my numbers at 0. Okay, so this will store the, so this is simply size of my numbers is 5, right? It's 20, sorry. So if we divide 20 by 4, we'll get 5, which is the length of the array. So that's what we expect to see. So let's move down to the next line. I think you can do something like this. So can just move to the 7th line here and then end of it. I think if we do 7 like this, will this work? No, that's not a command. So let's just move to the 7th line and then to the end of the line. We just do it like this and go back. Come on, that's 7 capital G, end of the line, back for B. Okay, let's move forward. So I'll do CI like this, eliminate everything inside and put len here. Now to print this, would this be a ZU or an integer? I'll just leave it as ZU because since we are using size of here, so I think it should still be ZU to print out the size in bytes. So let's write this now and move up here. So I'll clear my terminal here and see how this works. So the compilation was successful, and now now array length is 8, which is correct. This is what we wanted to. No, this is not correct. Hold on, we have 1 2 3, this is 5, so this is still not correct. Hold on, sorry, I'm coming. All right, so this is still not correct. I mean, this should have given us 5 because we have 5 items in the array. So what's going on? This is still not correct. Size of I think you shouldn't have given size of the len. Oh, thank you. This was my mistake. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So I need to, so from this place here, delete this word, right? And then delete this too. So we can just move back to this place and just X this off, right? So yeah, you got that. Thank you very much. So we can compile this again and then run it. Sorry, yeah, this is correct. So I was using size of 5, which was giving me 8, right? And that was incorrect. Okay, so this is actually the length of our array. So if we want to iterate through this array, we could do this. So I'll just come back here and say, let's move here. I'll comment out this line. Let's insert a comment here, right? Go to the end of the line. Okay, so we can say so first of all we need to define the integer I. So okay, it's already defined at the top there. So we can say for this is similar to JavaScript's for loop. So for I equal to 0, I is less than the length of the item, right? So let's take a look here. All right, so I is less than len. I'm just going to put len there, and then we can increment I by 1 for every iteration. So now we can say here, right? Where are we? Hold on, my indentation did not work. Why did the tab add 1 space instead of the 3 space? If 4 spaces or 4 space here. Anyways, I'll check on that later on. So we can say print f here. We can start with we can say iteration number, and then we can just put an integer here. So this will tell us for every iteration we want to see iteration number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on, right? So iteration number, and then we can say here, just printing a new line, and then okay, you know what, let's say the value is this. The value is at iteration, so we can just come here, move to the end of the line again like this, and then we can now start adding in. So let's insert a new line here, and then we'll add both values that we want to print. So we'll put the value of the array. So this will be my numbers at I, okay, and then the second one will be I, which is going to be the iteration number. So here, and then we close off like this, okay, and let's see what happens. So let's write this and try to compile the code. So I will just come back here So Control W, K will move me up. Let's clear that place and compile this code. Okay, the compilation worked. So now let's try to print out what it is. Now you can see the value is 1 at iteration number 0. The value is 2 at iteration number 1. So you can see we start counting from 0 all the way to 4, right? Now, this tells us that the value 5 is at index 4. The value 4 is at index 3, the value 3 is at index 2, and so on, because computers count from 0, right? So every item in an array will occupy a certain index, and that index is always represented in an integer form, right? Starting from 0 all the way to the last item in the array. Okay, so you can set a size for an array. So an array can have a fixed size, right? So this is done by declaring the array with size. So something like this, say for example, if we come back here and we say we go to line 4, right? Now imagine in line 4, okay, let's move to this place. Imagine in line 4 we did this. We say let's insert into this line 4, for example. Okay, that's not where we should put it. We should put it here. So it should be 4 like this, right? Now we declared an array of size 4, right? This means our array can only contain four integers. But in this case, we're assigning it 5, right? Let's see what will happen when we try to break the rules. So this will definitely give us a warning or an error, but we don't know that yet. So let's go back here and try to compile this. I'll just compile it. Now you can see we have a warning, right? It says SS element in array initializer. So we cannot have more than the size we specified while declaring the array. So it can only be 4 or whatever the size of the array is in this case. So we can come back here and change this to let's change this to 5. Okay, and let's write this and go back up, clear, compile the code and run again. Now you can see the compilation was successful. We didn't have an error, and when we print this, you'll see we'll have all the expected output shown on the screen. All right, it's just a warning, but a.out is still there. Hey, hello, Sharat. Nice to have you. I'm good. You can still run the binary even though there was a warning. Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me try that again. So I'll come back here and then I will X this out and insert 4. Okay, insert 4. Let's do it this way. So I'll clear this and run this again. So there's an SS element, but okay, let's see if the code will work. Oh, it did actually. Well, you're right. So the warning is not an error. That was a warning. Okay, it means you are doing something wrong, but yeah, we're still able to bypass the warning. Well, anyways, if you are declaring an array of a fixed size, you should make sure that the size does not exist. Exceed the amount of items you need to put in the array. So let me just come back here and I'll just remove this for now. I don't need that here. So let's move on. You can mix data types in an array. So apparently that is also allowed in C. Okay. So there are different types of arrays, multi-dimensional arrays, simple arrays and so on. Is it possible to actually set this here instead of putting this as size T? Can we make it say, let's delete this word here. Let's insert int like this. Is this possible? Can we do this? Yep, it is. Okay, that also works. So size T and int are also possible data types for the length of an array when looking for the length of an array. Yeah. So just one, but yeah, you can still run binary. As far as I remember, if you set len as 6 in the loop, it should work. Even though the limit is well, is that possible? If you set len to 6, so let's say what you're saying is if you did this, let's move down here. Instead of len, let's just put 6 there. I think this will not work because I mean it will try and get the seed item from the array, which does not even exist at this point, right? So let's try that and see. So instead of this, I'll just delete that. Insert 6, okay, and let's see. I'm sure this will give us an error, but again, let's just do that and try it out. Wow, the compilation was successful. How is that possible? Really? So the value is 0 at, so when you are out of bound, right? When you usually, let's say if you did something like this in JavaScript, you get an error because there is no other value after 5 in the array, so it will stop you from doing that. Yeah, it's actually good to know for the sake of knowledge. Yeah, it's actually good to know. I didn't know this was possible. Well, that's C for you anyways. Okay, this is good. So far so good. We are getting some new stuff in the brain. So let's take a look at something here. I think there's like an example here on this page. So in this case, there, to demonstrate a practical example of using arrays, let's create a program. So you have this average sum here. So declared an array, average sum is a float. Yeah. Well, these are just simple examples anyway. Multi-dimensional arrays is what I'm most interested in. Okay, so this is how you create a multi-dimensional array. Okay, so there is a question. So even if 7, 8, 9, will it work? Yeah, it is the base of all memory issue vulnerabilities. Is this why people say at some point it crashes? You know what, let's, for the sake of curiosity, let's set the iteration length to 8 and see what happens. Will this crash the program? How far can we go with this? So I'll just come here, insert in 10, for example, right? So let's run this and see. And then I will clear this part here and put this successful compilation. Okay. You can see some interesting outputs here. So the value is what does this mean, right? Is this going back to the top of the... So these are some values that we don't even have in our array, and I'm guessing this like the position in the array. Apparently when you create an array, each item in the array occupies a certain space in your memory. So since there wasn't any item, is this like the address of this position in memory? Is this it? Is this what this is? I mean, indexes are different, right? Index has something else. So I'm going to research on this later on to actually understand why this is even possible, right? Yeah, this kind of makes sense, but it doesn't at the same time. Array is continuous memory, right? So it points to the next value in next position. It prints the next value in next position. Okay, so after 5 we have 0, so meaning 0 is like the invisible value that did not exist. So there are values in memory already existed before. Okay, is that what is referred to as garbage values? I think this is it. You know what, let me see. So this is what garbage value is. Oh, I see. Interesting, really. Very, very. Can you do something like this? You know how you can access the last item in an array with a negative value? Is that also possible in C? Is that also something you can do in C? Let me see. I'll come back here. Sorry. Let me stop the loop from running. So instead of running the loop here, you know what, I'll just go back. Let me move to the top here, go to the end. Oh, like this. I would say, okay, garbage value is not a specific value, so let's try this. Print my numbers. Okay, so garbage value is any random value that exists in memory. So these are actual values that, so the random value that exists in memory, are these values created by our program, or it's just like any value that already existed in memory before, outside of our program even? So numbers, my numbers, let's say -1. Usually this will give us the last item in the array. You can do copy and paste. Alright, so copy and paste, P for paste, yeah. Okay, yeah. So we have printf. Let's just return here. I'll just say return 0, so that this other line 910 will not run. I hope that's what happens in C. So let's write this and go back up, Control W, K, back. So I'll just clear that and let's see. Okay, passing an argument means oh, okay, yeah, I see what happened there. So let's go to the line 8, right? I'll just like add in some stuff here. So so the last item is percentage D, like this. Oh, let's do it this way. And yep, this is not okay. Oh, come on, I keep typing. Okay. Oh, no. A dot out. So the last item is 5. Okay, negative indexes work in C as well. All right, that's cool. Not our program. That memory location may be used by other program executed where the program ended. The value is not cleaned up. Oh, I see. All right, that makes sense now. That makes sense. Sorry, my internet almost went out. Just went to switch it on. Let's see, what do we have here? I am learning C programming language. Okay, so multi-dimensional arrays. So we have a single dimension array. Let's see, these are great and something you will use a lot in programming, blah blah blah. So we can see here it is. We have, it's called 2D array, or also known as matrix. While return before the for loop. Oh yeah, I actually did this so that the for loop will not run, because I wanted to just print out this value here. So if I return, the program will stop executing at this point. Yeah. Okay, so we have some loop to also run for 2-dimensional arrays, so also known as matrix. So this will be the first array, which is like the parent array, and then this will be the children items. So this means this can only contain 2 arrays that also have 3 items in them, and they are all integers. Well. 2-dimensional arrays in JavaScript also exist in JavaScript. Every other programming language has it, even Python and so on. So this should be pretty familiar with this. Hey, thank you very much, Vishnu. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrongly. So I can see does this mean that there is a limit? Okay, let's try this out. I'll create a new file. So let's close this. I'll create a new file, say so this like a new buffer, right? So we say I'll call this matrix.c. So we have matrix.c. We just create a new, oh sorry, I didn't going to include stdio.h like this, and say int main like that, and then we'll create our two-dimensional array. So int, I'll call this matrix. I'll not put in any values here, so I'll just leave it like this and see what will happen. So here I'll just put in 1 2 3. So I assume this will allow me to create as much as possible if I don't put any limit to them. So this will be 2 4 5, right? Let me just do it that way. And then this will be 6 1, and that'll be it. So I'll just come here, and what do I do now? So if I wanted to print out the first item, you know what, let's even see if the program will compile with this. So I will exit Vim here. That's where it should be. Write this and compile. So say cc matrix.c, right? Okay, what's going on here? Okay, so there's an error. It has incomplete type int matrix. Hold on. What's going on here? So is this says error, array type has incomplete element int here. Matrix, declaration of matrix as multi-dimensional must have bounds for all dimensions except the first. Okay, so there has to be bound. I guess this is like the amount of items the array can contain, right? So here's what we can do. I'll just come to this place here, and let's see here, we just put this as 2. Okay, not there. Okay, come on now. JUKLMNOP. All right, so I can insert here to, like, let's put it as 3. So since I already have 3 items there, what will happen if I open this? Sorry, I forgot something quickly. Where's my other book? Anyways, we can just run this here. I'll say cc matrix Okay. Except the first. What does this mean? Declaration of matrix as multi-dimensional array must have bounds for all dimension except the first. Is this saying the items within this should have a specific size except the first one? Is that what that means? And I think that would actually make sense, because let's remove this here, go to this place and insert. Let's see, we want this to be 3. Now, from what we did in the past, we know arrays can have more items than they should, right? Well, you know what, for the sake of just testing this out, I'll just leave it like this and see what other errors I'll get from this point. But in single dimensional array, you can specify 5 array instead of array 5. Okay, the first one, at least you specify the outer array. Oh, right, I think specify for the second one instead of the first. Yeah, let me try that. Okay, so I'll go back up here. Yep, and do this. So I think we'll get another error here. Oh, there's no error this time around. So okay, it means our program ran well. So I know something interesting will happen if we try to like loop through this array, and I actually want to do it just to see what was going to happen. So I'll come here and I'll write the for loop. So first of all, let's just get the length of the matrix. We know this matrix, I mean, if we had put a value in this position here, right, the first one here, this would have been how much we have to iterate through the array. So in this case, I'll assume we don't know yet. So let's just do it this way. So say int, which is the length. Okay, let's say matrix, or let's just put length. Okay, you know what, matrix length is going to be equal to size of size of the matrix. Wait, instead of doing this, right, here's what I can, you know what, let me first of all try to get the size of the matrix itself, right? Now we know we use size of to calculate the length of the matrix. We just divide it by the first item. So in this case, how will we get the size? Is it going to be int? So let's say length of, say matrix length is equal to size of, right, size of, come on, size of so we get the array itself, matrix, okay, size of matrix divided by size of the first item in it. Is that going to work? Size of let's just see if this word matrix at 0. This is the first item here, so we can just do this. Okay, let's say let's print this out, print f. So the length is, we just do ZU U line cover and then matrix led like this. I'm not sure if this is going to work. one of the biggest difference. So this is the biggest difference between C and other programming language. You can't really do what you're doing in C. It is not practical. Okay. All right. Let's run this and see if this will even work to begin with. All right. So I'll just write this. Okay. Might not work. Yeah, it did not work. I've seen it for myself now. All right, so ZU expects size T. Okay, yeah, it has int type. Oh, okay. I mean, we used int type before to get ZU, right? Okay, so on line 5, right? So let's move to line 5 like this. Delete this word and use size. What have I done? You and insert size T. Sorry, size T. Now run it, it's fine. Okay, yeah. So let's work this out. Oh, come on. Yep, clear. Okay, this is working. Right. Huh. This actually worked. Press escape when you feel like you messed up. Yeah. I actually searched that today. I was typing a lot of stuff and then I wanted to like undo them in normal mode. This is Vim, and I was confused as to cancel them. So I later found that you can just do escape to undo them. So I'm still not used to like escaping. So I'll get used to it soon. Yeah. All right. So you can see we got the length of the array itself, the matrix itself, which is 3. It means it has 3 items in it. Okay, this is good. Now how do we iterate through the matrix? Well, this base will have like an outer loop and then an inner loop. So we'll start by iterating through each of the item and their own items, each of the members of the matrix and their own items. So this will be, we'll start an outer loop. So we'll start from here, length of the matrix, which is this one here, and then an inner loop that will go through this. Now I'm curious, since there are no even size, right, what's going to happen? Is this going to iterate through 3 times regardless of how many items are in the array, right? Or we are going to run into an error? I think it is the size of the outer array. Yes, the size of the outer array is what we use to start the outer loop, right? We are going to use 2 loops. The first loop will iterate through each item of the matrix, and then an inner loop to iterate through the items inside of the matrix items, or the array inside of the matrix, if that's easier to say. So let me do it this way. I will come here and start writing the loop. You know what, let's go down a little bit. So for so we need to first define, okay, we need to first define our iterators. So I'll say I and J, right? I and J like this. And so I for, we wouldn't know because it operates beyond the limit. That's interesting. let's try it and see. So I will be for the outer loop and j will be for the inner loop, right? So have for I equal to 0, I is less than the matrix len. You can do int I also. Oh, okay, you can define it there and use it. Oh, right. Thanks for the tip, man. Thanks a lot. So here we just go with this one. So I'll say print. Okay, now we'll run the second loop for j. So we already defined j there, right? So j is equal to 0, still 0, and this will be now j will be less than what? Would we do it this way? So I mean, for j to, so does that mean we have to calculate the length of each of the array inside of the matrix? So say for example j is going to be equal to, is going to be less than so we have to calculate the okay, you know what, let me do it this way. I'll come back here, let's go to the end of this line. So go up, I'll come here and then I'll do this. I'll say int, no, size of, let's use size of, come on, I'm not trying to, size t, let's say array size, let's just put it like this, and then we'll set this to be equal to size of the item, right? So we'll say matrix at I. So this will take the first array, okay, and then we'll do this, say divided by size of, let's say, I think to find the size of inner array, size of matrix 0. Yes, that's it. But since we are in the loop, right, since we are looping through, we can just like do it with the indexes. No, you are not wrong. This, except the fact that you're using zeros, right? We want to use the dynamic value of the indexes, which is what the value of I is here. So we can say size of, again, size of matrix at I, right? And then we can just use 0 here like this. So this will get us the first item of the array, right? So now we have this size of this and that. So we already calculated the size here, so we can now say array size. So let's get down here. So here we can just say array size, right? Size like this, and j plus plus. Yeah, j plus plus. Now we can say print. Okay, so to do this nicely, I want to print the first. So when we get to okay, let's do it this way. I'll come back here, let's go back up, let's go up again, let's insert on this sign. So I'll say print print f. Here I'll say So I want to say first, second, and third, right? So we can just start with let's say line, or let's say let's just use line percentage sign D, and just print this on a new line, right? Just add a new line after this, and just say index of I, right? So this will print line one, and then we'll print everything inside of line 1, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, and then in the next iteration we'll print line 2, and this will be, or we can just, instead of using line, let's use array, right? Or what's more easy to understand? Should we just print it how we write the matrix in math? Okay, so I think each in array has same size, 3 times 4, 12 bytes. Sharat, I'm not sure I understand. You want me to print it like this? Let me see. I think the same too. So you want me to print it in the brackets, like on each line, right? Say, let me see, escalate draw here. Let me try and represent what you are trying to say before I embark on it. So let's see, is this how so instead of this, I should print like 1, 2, hold on, where's my mouse? 1, 2, 3, and then the next one will be 4, 5, and then so on, 6, like this, right? Is this what you mean? Okay. No, there's no problem. I mean, yeah, I'm actually okay with that. So we'll have it on each line like this, right? So meaning the second iteration is where we should print all of these values at, and we'll have to print them on the same line. How do we do that? Okay, so it means we will not print a new line until we reach the end of the array. I mean, until we hit the end of the iteration. Okay, let's think about this. So first of all, instead of doing this, right, I'm going to just remove this line here. So dd, okay, like that, and then come to this place here. So here's what I'll do. I'll come to the 11th line, right? Okay, come back up. So I'll move back up here, go to the, yeah. All right, so I can print, let's print f here. So I'll print f, print f, so we'll print f. Let me think about this. So we print the first the items one after the other. So this will be percentage d, and then we'll just leave it like that. They will say matrix like this, right? I and j. Okay, matrix I and j, and then we do it this way. So now we can say if we reach the last item, then we can print a new line, right? So if j, right? J. I think we should check it first before we print, right? Because if J will never be equal to the array size, so let's just do this. So if J is equal to array size minus 1, right? Array size minus 1, put space after. Oh, okay, yeah, I need that too. Okay, I'll do that now. If array minus 1, okay, let's put space after this so it doesn't print out the elements together. So I can just say set some space, or let's even do it this way, comma and space, right? So comma and space, so that it actually looks like a matrix. Okay, so let's move down here. So we can say if the J is at the last item, then we print a new line. So we can say insert okay, so come on, what am I doing? So array size since the loop prints the inner printing after the loop, no need for if. Okay, the reason I put in the if is just to, oh, I see. I think okay, I get it. So here, let's terminate this one here. Sorry, control this. So the outer loop should be the one printing the new line, right? The outer loop should print the new line. Okay, if you can just print, yes, exactly. That's why I thought too. So the outer loop should print the new line. So we can just do it this way. So add the new line here. Let's say print f the new line like this. So we can say n like that. Okay, and close this. So let's see if this is okay. So we started here, we created the matrix, we got the size, we are pretending we create two variables here. Okay, we need to close this one here. So let's go back up, go to line 14 and 14 here, and then we can close the loop here. So insert this. Okay, try if you want to see how the logic works. Use control and B forward completion. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so let's come here. Let's try to write this and go back up to run this. Yeah. Okay, so let's compile this. All right, the compilation didn't work because I made some mistakes. So there is a missing terminating stuff somewhere, and this part here too does not have. Okay, this is all my fault. I'll go back and correct them. So go back up to the next word here. Let's append to this. Okay, and add the, let's see, incomplete words. That completion is not like VS Code completion, incomplete. Okay, use Control N for word completion. Oh, I see. Control. If you want to see how your logic works, okay. All right, I think I made a mistake here on this line as well. So let's go up here and move in some words. Okay, back here. I think, oh, come on. My mistake was here. I put max trace instead of matrix. What else were matrix learn? So I'm not sure if I come back to this. So here is something I've been experiencing. I'm not sure how to do it. So let's say I went back to the terminal here, right? When I scroll on my mouse, I'm not able to read the errors. Instead, it just scrolls through my past my past commands instead of like letting me to scroll through it. So instead of that, I'll just only use it in insert mode. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me first see what this error is. Instead of running this here, I'll just close the terminal. Let me just close the terminal here. Hold on. Control W. Control WK. Okay, let me just Control D. I'll open the terminal vertical. Is it vertical term? Yeah. So here I can just try to like compile the code. Oh, it worked. All right, so I don't have the chance to read my errors again. All right, so let me try and do this. So I'll say here instead I'll just run the a.out file, and we have some interesting stuff here. So the length of the matrix is printed nicely. That one is different, but you can see 1 2 3 4 5, and the same thing that happened before. So we can see that 0 is being printed for like the empty spaces, right? Instead of just letting us run into errors, you just replace the empty values with zeros. I use Control Shift. All right, let me try this command and see if the auto completion actually works. So Control WL to move to the left, and let's say I wanted to type something. For example, let's move down the page. I'll just come here. Let me just try to type matrix and use Control N, right? Control and N. Let's see. It completes words. Completion is now obvious code of the. If you try not to show, okay, where is it? Okay, Control N. So let's say Control N. Oh, wow! This is so cool. Oh my god. Oh wow. What's Control P? Control P. Control N and Control P are the same. Control N and Control P are the same. So here's what happens. What happened was you declared matrix. Yeah. But because you use size 3 for the inner loop. Yes, exactly. Thanks, AJ. Yeah, I understood that. Yeah, it's just like the way we try to print out the we try to iterate through the array with like a longer iteration, and it was printing 0 0 0 0 0. Control Y to accept the selected and Control E to eject. So if I do Control E, I'll close. Control N, and I can just go here and just Control Y. to accept. I used enter, right? I just to control N and then enter. It will select the one I want. Oh, it doesn't actually. Enter does not. It is control. So control again. Control N. So which one? So match 2 of 2. Back to original. Match 1 of 2. Is it okay? The highlighted one is where we are. So if I press, let's say I do this MATR and I come to matrix and I press enter, it chooses matrix for me. In next through PEB is previous. This is awesome, man. I like this stream. So many things, so many contributions. Awesome. I love it. Right. So I've streamed for 1 hour 30 minutes. Unfortunately, I had to end the stream. I only planned for an hour, but I was having too much fun actually. So it went over an hour, which I have to apologize for. Hey Floki, come and see. Come and see my friends in the stream. Guys, meet Floki. This is Floki. My secretary. Say hello to the stream. Say hello to everybody. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Sharat, AJ. It was nice meeting you guys. We'll see again on another day. I stream on Wednesdays and Saturday. I did stream this Wednesday because I was very busy, but yeah, Saturdays will not be missed. Yeah, I will surely keep doing this. Thank you, AJ. Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Skill Hive Academy. Hello. Yeah. Say hi to Floki. Okay. Say hello to my friends. How are you, boy? You good? All right, guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye. So, AJ, see you next time. Okay, let me end the stream.